This show is brought to you by Beco Dairy Automation. You have tuned in to the Agribusiness Dairyman News Hour magazine, your 1 hour all dairy connection. We call it the Dairyman source for news, ideas, information, and technology, mixed with a double dose of current market conditions. The what, the why, and the how things influence the amount of money dairy producers receive for their daily milk deliveries. We offer this daily news hour magazine as a catalyst for long-term dairy producer sustainability. We invite every dairy producer in America to get their daily dose of what can be done and what they can do to achieve and maintain profitability on their farms. $22 for 36 months is our goal. We advocate there is a way forward. We invite dairy producers to come listen, learn, and participate. This is a no-complaint zone. We talk solutions. So get out your pen and paper. And now, here's your host of the Agribusiness Dairyman News Hour magazine, Mr. Tom Van Nortwick, owner of Agribusiness Publications, publisher and editor of the Agribusiness Dairyman magazine.
All right, good morning and welcome. It is Thursday morning, the 31st of March, 2016. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining the Agribusiness Dairyman News Hour magazine, your 1 hour all dairy connection. We express our appreciation to those who support us and provide opportunity for us to be of a small influence in the activities within the dairy industry, and hopefully pushing forward our efforts to achieve $22 for 36 months will be realized much sooner than later. As we look at the news of the day there and the markets yesterday, all week, and for the last for more than a year, there is plenty of reason to start looking for, or hopefully embracing, a much better idea of how to support a higher price for dairy production in this country. One of the issues that we'll cover today, as always, is the recommendation and really what has become the buzzword in the dairy industry in the United States is that we are part of a global market. And there's nothing wrong with that, except when dairy producers are the only ones that suffer when they are the ones that are paid the global market price for milk, even that milk which they produce for domestic consumption. We have shown over and over that there has been no drop in domestic consumption over these past 5 years, a little bit of fluid, but there's actually been some increases, and we'll be bringing those to bear next week as we start identifying for dairy producers what's working and what's not working, relative to ways in which they can increase the consumption and all-important utilization of dairy and dairy products here in the United States, and then discuss the ramifications of uncoupling a domestic production for domestic consumption from global. The dairy producers are the only ones suffer when global prices are paid or inflicted upon them for the milk that they bring to the marketplace. And so we're going to cover that, and that will be a bit of our cover story this morning. We were looking for some additional news and information, and unfortunately, my news source that I rely on so heavily has been MIA this week, and I must have gotten the opportunity to be away, and I can appreciate that. Unfortunately, that doesn't provide for us an opportunity to do the best job possible of getting news and information to you relevant to what's going on today. Things change so darn fast, and so I was just looking through to see where I could grab some information and help So we're going to take a break right here, Stuart. If you'll put some of our sponsors in this morning. Welcome again to the Agribusiness Dairyman News Hour magazine. Your 1 hour all dairy connection will be back in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Eva Strang, Education Coordinator for the Allied Milk Producers. Cereal and milk have always been a mainstay for breakfast, at least since 1882. That's when the first commercially manufactured cereal was made by Henry Perky. It was called shredded wheat, and it's still with us today as one of the most popular cereals. Remember, breakfast is probably the most important meal of the day, and a good breakfast includes nutritious dairy foods like milk on cereal. A good way to start the day.
Is your milking equipment holding your dairy back? Are you still milking with 5/8-inch dairy equipment that became popular 35 years ago? Your dairy's production and milking goals have changed. Shouldn't your dairy equipment be able to meet the same goals? Beco Dairy Automation can help with industry-leading, innovative dairy equipment that eliminates all restrictions in the milk path of your milking parlor. Eliminating the restrictions in the milk path improves production, milking flow rates, parlor throughput, and ultimately better udder health for your cows. Beco Dairy Automation is your partner for success, delivering unrestricted, durable, and profitable milking equipment to today's commercial dairy. To learn more, call us today at 1-800-344-7166 or check out our website at www.becoKnows.com.
All right, welcome back, and thank you, Stuart, for your help. One of the top stories going on here in the West, of course, is the tremendous effort being brought forward in the California legislature to impact the minimum wage paid to workers in the state of California. And this article offered in Dairy Herd, they do a great job, and I appreciate the chance to be able to go to them today. But California could be facing a new labor challenge after Governor Jerry Brown and state legislators struck a deal on Monday, that's this week, to raise the minimum wage to $15 per hour by 2022. Farm labor availability is already limited in the state, and dairy farmers believe the increased minimum wage will make it even more difficult to hire the workers they need to keep their dairy operations running. A recent Milk Intelligence national survey of dairy farmers with more than 500 cows found that starting milkers in California were paid an average of $10 per hour. More than 65% of farm owners surveyed provided employees housing as part of their compensation. Almost 40% offer insurance, and nearly 42% pay production incentive bonuses. Under the legislation proposed by the governor on Monday, the current minimum wage of $10 per hour would rise to $10.50 in 2017, $11 in 2018, and then increase $1 each year until 2022. The governor retains the right to halt wage increases if the economy cannot sustain them, according to the agreement. Many dairy farmers who responded to the Milk Intelligence Survey expressed many concerns about the push for a higher minimum wage in many states and localities. Pushing up the minimum pushes all levels above it to a new floor. And one respondent, minimum should be an entry-level wage for beginning wage earners. You need to be able to control costs, and I do not believe that we should be mandated to offer more than the position demands or required by skill level, another respondent said. Fortunately for the few small dairies left in California, businesses with fewer than 25 employees have an extra year to implement the wage increases. Governor Brown admits that the wage increase will be tough on some businesses. If you took the wages down and cut them in half, it would make it easier for certain businesses, he said in a press conference on Monday. But you can't function that way because we're a community. Now, one of the things, as I have been talking with dairy producers this week, that has come into play, we'll talk about during the breaks today. We're going to be picking up Ron O'Brien of Interfoods, and the focus today will be just giving you an idea of what that impact will be, and we'll talk about that when we come back. Hang tight while we get Ron O'Brien, Senior Global Strategist with Interfoods, on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Move over, Manny, Mo, and Jack. For quick, convenient auto service and no appointment needed, ask for G Express service from Groppetti Automotive in Visalia. We'll guarantee an oil and filter change in as little as 39 minutes. And there's more. Need your tires rotated? A brake job? Even a 15,000-mile service? There's no appointment necessary, and we'll guarantee your service time. G Express. It's a new level of convenience you'll only find at Groppetti Automotive.
Is your milking equipment holding your dairy back? Are you still milking with 5/8-inch dairy equipment that became popular 35 years ago? Your dairy's production and milking goals have changed. Shouldn't your dairy equipment be able to meet the same goals? Beco Dairy Automation can help with industry-leading, innovative dairy equipment that eliminates all restrictions in the milk path of your milking parlor. Eliminating the restrictions in the milk path improves production, milking flow rates, parlor throughput, and ultimately better udder health for your cows. Beco Dairy Automation is your partner for success, delivering unrestricted, durable, and profitable milking equipment to today's commercial dairy. To learn more, call us today at 1-800-344-7166 or check out our website at www.becoKnows.com.
20 seconds till we open here. We settle the block at 146 even. Barrel settled at 145 1/4. And should be the regular cast in here today. I believe Saw may be in here for Chair today. We'll see. Okay. 5 seconds till we open.
You're listening to the Agribusiness Dairyman News Hour magazine.
No market to start here. Nothing posted. No bids. No offers. Nothing showing out of the gate.
This is the blocks and barrel trades taking place at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange here on Thursday, the 31st of March.
Seconds in here. Still nothing posted. No bids. No offers. All right, minute in here, still nothing posted, no bids, no offers.
For a long time, Yeah, no. I'm hearing this.
30 seconds till the call here. Still nothing posted. No bids, no offers.
I know, but I try not to.
5 seconds till the call here. Nothing posted, no bids, no offers. Close to the call here, no markets. First call. Second call. Third. We're closed. All right, everybody. That's it. So the block at 146 even, unchanged, no loads traded. Barrels 145 1/4, unchanged, no loads traded. All right. All right. You too. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right, people, finishing up the end of the month and the quarter with nothing happening here. Block settling at 146 even, unchanged, no loads trading. Barrels 145 1/4, unchanged, no loads trading. Going to be back on for non-fat, a couple few non-fat settle at 71 1/2. See what
All right. right. Thank you, Ron, O'Brien, and team. We're doing our best to negate some of the pop-ups that come up on a regular basis for us here, and we apologize for the intermittent noise that we'll have. I'm going to probably go ahead and cut Ron's vocals here so that we can go ahead and continue on with our news this morning. One of the other topics that we were going to cover, here's an article, March the 30th, 2016, by Robin Schmall of Ag Dairy LLC, and we're grateful to get this version from them. If I can get it back, I keep jumping around here with plenty of issues. Okay, let's take a look at what she's got to say. Milk prices have been very low for a few months now. Class D price has been below $15 for the past 3 months, with 2 of those months having prices below $14. Class 4 price has fared better, but not very much. There have only been 2 months of prices below $15. The last time we saw Class 3 milk prices this low was January 2011, with Class 4 only back to August 2015. The current all-milk price is the lowest since July 2010, yet milk production has not slowed enough to result in a decline on a year-over-year basis. There was anticipation milk production in February might show the first decline in years, but production increases 1% were the adjustment when the adjustment was made for leap year. Low milk prices have not had the impact of slowing milk production as much as one would have anticipated by now. There is hope these low milk prices may be short-lived. Farmers have made adjustments to many areas of their operation and have been loath to reduce cow numbers. Dairy, which means they've been slow. Our slaughter numbers are about the same as last year. Dairy cattle slaughter for the month of February totaled 242,300 head, down 14,000 head from February 2015, 200 fewer than January. This level is 5,000 head above the amount slaughtered in 2014, when milk price was about $10 per hundredweight higher. $10, guys. We're leaving $10 on the table every day. Unbelievable. Overall, cow numbers continue to increase, with the number of milk cows on farms in February totaling 9.312 million head, 4,000 more than last year, and 100,000 head more than February of 2014. From these numbers, we can gather that dairy producers are doing what they generally do, and that is to increase milk production when milk prices fall in order to make up. And I apologize and stink. I can't find that, Stuart. I cannot find where that damn comes in. You'll have to do the editing. Okay, from these numbers we can gather that dairy producers are doing what they do. Then when milk prices rise, milk production increases as they want to take advantage of higher prices. There are 2 reasons milk production declines: adverse weather, during which cow comfort and feed intake declines. This is usually during prolonged periods of hot weather, or production declines during a period of low milk prices, when feeding methods and rations may change or culling will increase substantially. Feeding methods and adjustments of rations have been taking place in areas of farming operations, and we know all that stuff. This is nothing new. Some areas of the country are just beginning the spring flush period, while others are still some weeks away. Milk plants are running near capacity in many areas, with greater volumes expected over the next 3 months. All right, hang tough. We're going to come back to this. I think there's still some more data that we could pull from that, which is always useful. And we can't ever get enough information, in my opinion. And so everyone hang on for one moment while we get set up again to go into dry powder trades at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Hang on.
As dairy farmers watch profits slip away and a wonderful way of life painfully comes to an end for future generations, Dairy Pricing Association sees a brighter future simply by having a solution. These dairy pricing farmer members in 10 states and growing have figured out a way. Government handouts are not the answer. It's time for farmers to take matters in their own hands. Dairy Pricing Association is asking for farmers to contribute 10 cents per hundredweight to buy surplus dairy products to create a floor price, as well as helping relieve hunger in America. This is a win-win. As dairy farmers, we watch markets fluctuate as much as $4 per hundredweight in 1 month's time. 10 cents is nothing. Imagine being able to curb another 2009 scenario simply by controlling the floor price that you need as a dairy farmer to stay in business. With the dairy products that you as a dairy pricing member purchase, thousands of people are fed. No government assistance is needed. Rather, simply you as a dairy farmer are helping yourself by helping others. For more information, visit online dairypricing.org.
Are you restricting the profitability of your dairy herd? Beco Dairy Automation can help with industry-leading, innovative dairy equipment that eliminates all restrictions in the milk path of your milking parlor. Beco Dairy Automation is your partner for success, delivering unrestricted, durable, and profitable milking equipment to today's commercial dairy. To learn more, call us today at 1-800-344-7166. Check our website at becoKnows.com.
Okay, we're now joining Ron O'Brien's group for the dry powder trades Thursday, March 31st, 2016. Hang tight as we'll sit through the entire trading period for dry powder.
We're open. No markets. 71 even bid on one by Trev. 2 and 2.5. PPT joins the bid one time. 2 and 2.5. 71 even bid twice, one Trev, one PPT. KPC joins the offer at 2.5 one time. 3 on the offer. 30 seconds to the call.
Offer 2.5 with.
Saw joins the offer at 2.5. 4 loads offered at 72.5. 2 me. 1 KPC. 1.25 bid on one by Trev. PPT joins that bid. 2 bid at 71.25. 10 seconds to the call. Coming up to the call here. 1.5 bid on one by PPT. Bid to the call. First call. Okay. Second call. Third. Close. All right. Well, we're going to settle right there at 72.5. Unchanged, no loads trading. It's a tight market there. Yeah, 71.5 is the bid going up.
All right. Thank you again to Ron and his group as the conference call we join every morning at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, brought to us by Ron O'Brien, the Senior Global Strategist at Interfoods, and thank you. Now, back to the news of the morning. We're talking about milk production remaining strong, dairy producers doing what they do best, even a 1% increase, when in fact we should be shooting for a total of a 2% decrease per month until we get price restoration, because the amount of money you would make from increasing the milk price far outweigh the little bit of money you get from increasing your overall production. You're getting $15, $10 less per hundredweight on 4% of your milk or 2% of your milk. It's easier, faster, better to correct the markets by shorting the milk in the marketplace at any given time and providing dairy producers the opportunity to be blessed by the market with higher prices. So we look at this, let's see, during prolonged period, okay, we did all that. This is a continuing article in Dairy Herd. They do a great job, and I appreciate this article by this individual, Robin Schmall at Ag Dairy LLC, and she's covering all the reasons why dairy producers do what they do. We continue with this. Some areas of the country are just beginning the spring flush period, while other areas are still some weeks away. Milk plants are running near capacity in many areas with greater volumes expected over the next 3 months. This has prompted discussions and implementation of milk quotas based on last year's milk production by some cooperatives. This is a This is a measure to hopefully limit increasing milk production, allowing plants to balance supply with demand. Oh, why would they do that? Interesting. However, there's talk of it. Wow. At their level, of course, they're always trying to increase capacity and run at capacity. Why? Because that's more efficient. We get that. And we certainly need them to prosper, but not at the expense of dairy producers. However, continuing with her story, however, that was commentary back there. However, cows cannot be turned off like a machine, as in a manufacturing plant, and then turned back on again when the milk plant wants more milk. I would to heck with the milk plant. We don't want to give them more milk, by the way. To heck with them. You've got to get profitable. I would venture to say that this may have a delay impact on leveling or reducing milk production. Keeping cows healthy and at peak milk production is the goal for any dairy operation. If these quotas are expected to be implemented for a short duration, such as spring flush, dairy farmers may continue to push milk production through that period of time in order to maximize the lactation curve of their dairy cattle in hopes that milk demand and prices will increase, not going to happen, and they can continue on after the quotas are lifted. Holy cow. You know what's happening at the same time here? Do you know what's happening to milk quality? Do you guys know what you're doing with your milk quality because you're not culling? You're not taking out those cows with high somatic cell counts? Milk quality is diminishing. It sucks. Shouldn't go there. Yes, you can. You're not turning off all the cows. We're just getting rid of the cows that are contributing to high somatic cell count. If nothing else, they're not productive, and price of feed, regardless of whatever the price of feed is, relative to the amount of money you're getting for the milk they make, they're not worth milking. And therefore, they're not worth feeding. So, cull them. Sorry, we're not talking about the best cows here. We're talking about the bottom feeders. We're talking about the ones that, for one reason or another, need to be out of your herd. And for if no other reason than lack of efficiency. You're always screaming at me about efficiencies. Well, let's get efficient on the other end of this. Let's only milk the cows that are providing maximum production for feed invested and are providing a high-quality milk product that does not contribute to the lowering of the quality standards at your farm or in the entire milk stream. Yes, it will be frustrating going on with the article and depressing to receive less money for increased milk production, but it may be better than affecting the productivity. Wrong. That's just a wrong assumption, girl or guy. If that's a Robin, I don't know, Robin boy, Robin girl, because Robin, Batman's friend, was a guy. So we're going to go with whatever. This is the wrong assumption. This is not sustainable. It has never worked. It has always contributed to rapid declines in milk price to dairy producers, long periods of sustained low prices and accelerated decline of prices when demand is falling because you're accelerating in the other direction with supply, and then prolonged bottoms, which is where we're at now. We're at a 2 to 5 year prolonged bottom. Get ready. It's coming. There's nothing going to change it if you don't change production. Nothing will change this. You're going to have to change your production numbers. We're going to have to be market responsive. We're going to have to increase utilization. We're going to have to increase consumption. You're going to have to uncouple global from domestic production consumption, because it's not right that with this great market that is the United States of America, and they love dairy. They're your best friends. 92, 93, 94, 95, 96% of all your production at any given time is being consumed by the American consumer, and it could be higher. That could be larger than that. We could actually be utilizing and consuming more milk, and we have the answers brought forward by dairy producers, recommendations that you could follow. Now, here's her bottom line. This is the bottom line in this article. The bottom line is that plants may need to make less income on what they process manufacture to work harder to market product when milk supply is plentiful, just as dairy farmers do at times when milk prices are low and expenses are high. Well, that makes sense too. That's a nice assumption. It will all come out in the wash in the end. This will ensure consumers will have good quality dairy products available for consumption. That is not our problem. Everybody, you know what? That's just BS. There is no shortage of milk in the United States. There's no shortage of cream. There's no shortage of cheese, butter, powder. We got plenty. That's not the issue. And it's a very damn affordable right now. So the consumers, they're well taken care of, frankly. I never have trouble finding as much milk as I want. I'd like it colder, and we need to work with our retailers to make sure that's the case, because I know it's coming out of processing and out of manufacturing at the right temperature, and some of our retailers, they cheat on the temperature of their milk, and that needs to be. Okay, here's this Robin Schmall, who this person is a commodity broker and owner of Ag Dairy LLC, a full-service commodity brokerage firm located in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. He can be reached at 877-256-3253 or through their website at www.agdairy.com. Robin, don't mean to disagree, but there's just some points. Thank you for the news. And I think your analysis is of the industry and of dairy producers is spot on. The problem is that to be after these producers, to say it's okay, go ahead and make more milk. You need to step up and say, no, that's the wrong thing to do. We need you to be market responsive with milk production and do everything you can to help market more milk, higher utilization, better milk on the market, get the somatic cell count down. There's some things we could be doing. So, but a good article, a very good article, nevertheless, and thank you. But as you can see, we're not necessarily going to agree every time on these issues. All right, let's get back with Ron O'Brien, and I'm going to jump in right here, Stuart, and we're dialing this up every time to keep his noise out of our ears.
Hello, I'm Eva Strang, Education Coordinator for the Allied Milk Producers. Cereal and milk have always been a mainstay for breakfast, at least since 1882. That's when the first commercially manufactured cereal was made by Henry Perky. It was called shredded wheat, and it's still with us today as one of the most popular cereals. Remember, breakfast is probably the most important meal of the day, and a good breakfast includes nutritious dairy foods like milk on cereal. A good way to start the day.
Is your milking equipment holding your dairy back? Are you still milking with 5/8-inch dairy equipment that became popular 35 years ago? Your dairy's production and milking goals have changed. Shouldn't your dairy equipment be able to meet the same goals? Beco Dairy Automation can help with industry-leading, innovative dairy equipment that eliminates all restrictions in the milk path of your milking parlor. Eliminating the restrictions in the milk path improves production, milking flow rates, parlor throughput, and ultimately better udder health for your cows. Beco Dairy Automation is your partner for success, delivering unrestricted, durable, and profitable milking equipment to today's commercial dairy. To learn more, call us today at 1-800-344-7166 or check out our website at www.becoKnows.com.
EPT, 2 offers, $2 even, 1 trev, 1 heavy.
These are the butter trades on Thursday, the 31st of March. CME, hang tight. We'll stay through the end of the butter trades.
$45 seconds to the call on your 191 even bid. 2 offered at $2 even. $95.5 bid on 1 by BKF. steady bid on one by BKF, 2 offered at $2 even, 1 heavy, 1 press. We've got about 10 seconds for the call here. Call here. First call. Second call. Third. Closed. All right, so good settle right there at 195.5 unchanged. No loads trading here. So, pretty quiet day here for the end of the quarter. Have a lovely day, everybody. Take care.
Okay, there we have the butter trades. No loads trading, no bids, no offers. The butter price stayed the same, still in the low 190s. And hopefully it will languish there for longer than not. We certainly do not need it to be lower. We anticipate that it will be lower, however, and unfortunate as that may be, we're going to have to endure that. Excuse me. As we do everything we can to push dairy producers to play a larger role in naming the price they get paid for their milk. And we would be remiss if we did not say that these things that have been taught to us and what I know to be true have been shown to me by dairy producers. And, there's just lots of, there's a lot of trains of thought in the dairy industry. And you just heard one from Mr. Small, and he did a great job of delineating exactly what dairy producers do, which is typically, as prices are falling, they begin to accelerate their milk production even more. As prices are rising, they are busy doing the best they can to accelerate their milk production even more. Now, and unfortunately, milk production increases at the wrong time can actually accelerate the decline in price and can shorten a rally. It's like, there used to be a mentality in football that if you pass the ball, one of 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad, so it's not a good idea to pass the ball. What are the 2 bad things? It could be incomplete, or it could be intercepted, or you could complete it. So 1 of 3. 33%, not a good plan. Well, when you increase milk production on a regular basis and don't remember to continue to be market responsive with your milk production, well, that comes to mind because I'm going to list the things that could go wrong. Number 1, you could shorten a rally. Increase milk production, increase supply that is accelerated above increase in demand will cause lower prices. And it may very well quelch a rally and or shorten the rally so that our peaks, if you've noticed over these last 10 years, our peaks are very short and rapidly diminishing. Okay, increased production at a time of declining demand will accelerate the rate the prices fall. So there's 2 bad things, okay? Lowered demand or increased production while demand is falling will accelerate the price decrease. If you were able to be market responsive and you curbed supply at the same time demand is falling, you may be able to mute or stop the decline in price, and that would be a good thing. But if you don't respond with supply reduction relative to profitable demand for the milk, then you're going to accelerate the decline in price. Now, while demand is falling, if you increase milk production, you're going to do just what we said. You're going to accelerate the rate of decline, and you're going to accentuate the depth that the milk that the milk price will fall. Okay, we have only been sustained by the fact that, there's a whole lot of demand in this country for butter and cheese. Cheese has held pretty good, all things considered. Butter, exceptionally well, because it could just as easily be a whole lot lower. And so we've been artificially supported, quite frankly, relative to supply and demand. But we'll take it. Hallelujah. But what we've got now is we've gone down in the elevator, as we always say. We're on the bottom. Well, and unfortunately, there's a couple more floors below us, but we're in fact, you know what? We haven't even got out of the elevator. I would almost say, if I'm going to use that analogy, we're still in the elevator. We're just kind of sitting there, back, up, down, a little bit, up, down, and we're not in the basement yet. But, we're heading to the basement. We're heading to the basement. And the reason why we're heading to the basement is decline in demand has continued. There's been some rally points. There's some positive things happening. But even the demand that we have received, they have received the commodities that they wanted at half price. Half price. And in fact, even we in the American marketplace have gone outside the country to buy butterfat and probably even finished products at the lowest prices they've been since 2009. Late 2008, all of 2009 into 2010. And in fact, we imported twice as much butterfat as we exported last year. Why? Because it was just plain cheaper. Butterfat outside the United States is a whole lot cheaper than it is inside the United States. And it's been that way for more than a year. So we imported it, and that's not good. Sorry, we'll talk about imports, but our cover story today is the point we need to make is that dairy producers have shown us, ones that have really looked at this and come up with a better solution, is that there are tools in place that dairy producers can use anytime they would like to that would achieve sustainability and maintain it over an extended period of time. We do not need to have to live through this volatility. Okay? Because here's what demand also does. Demand not responding to supply not responding to dropped demand will extend the period of time that you will receive crappy prices for your milk below cost of production as you are today. So the valleys become wider when you don't become market responsive with your supply, with milk production on the farm. So there's the third bad thing that happens. Okay? And more money it's just, I think if we did the math, it wouldn't, I think you could prove that $22 milk is better than $16 milk any time and all the time. And the total accumulation of dollars are far greater than it would be if you were making 4 to 8% too much milk, okay, but on the other 92% of your milk you were getting 16. I need to sit down and do the math. In any given month, giving 16 for 92% instead of 22 for 92% doesn't make sense. You're still going to get 22 for the 92. That's just more money. Because the 6 or 8% is gone. You didn't make it, but you also didn't spend money to make it. You weren't feeding as many faces. You weren't milking as many cows. You weren't chilling as much milk. You weren't shipping as much milk. You weren't paying make allowances on as much processing. You weren't having to use so much money to try and get rid of it through CWT, or in our case, recommendation for dairy pricing. But dairy pricing is different. Dairy pricing doesn't discount the product so low that everybody who, you're robbing from yourself your own clients because you're discounting the cheese product and the butter product to these foreign markets. And nobody will tell us how much. Nobody will share with us what the price really is. It's just discounted. And you're paying the price of the discount. So there's another thing that oversupply does. The last thing is that when you're oversupplied demand, even when demand begins to return, it is a longer and more protracted period of time for recovery to price sustainability, price profitability. It just takes longer. Why? Because two reasons. We've created so much excess inventory that, remember our problem? We can only go back up the stairway, but we filled the stairway with cheese butter powder, packed in there solid, and you have to unload it 1 brick at a time, 1 gallon at a time, 1 pound at a time. And it takes a long time, even if you are in balance, supply-demand, and price recovery begins to take place. You got to unpack the stairway, and then you got to climb up 1 stair at a time, day after day after day. But oh my gosh, when demand falls and supply continues to rise, how accelerated is that decline? 30 days, 2 weeks, sometimes. Unbelievable retraction in price because you have an accelerating milk production with an accelerating decline in demand. So, yeah, it's going to fall. If you've got 2 cars coming at each other and they're coming at each other at 60 miles an hour, how fast are they gaining on each other? That's what happens with price. So the point we make is that at www.dairypricing.org, at www.my-dairyman.com, plans are there. Recommendations have been made. Ideas are being conveyed, and processes being implemented to better organize producers behind a sustainable plan. In fact, the goal we've set in our 2020 initiative is $22 for 36 months. Sustained. Boom. Take out this volatility. You can do it, guys. You could remove the volatility. You can restore price, and you can remove volatility, but you've got to change the way you cannot continue to do it the way you've always done it and expect a different result. We've covered that so many times in the past. And so it's critical that you hear this message. You're going to hear it a lot. You've already heard it a lot. You listen to anything we say, and it's always there. It's going to always be there. Why? Because everything else just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And there is no other plan. Nobody else has a plan for you. Oh, we read in the article today by Mr. Small, I think the co-ops and the processors are going to probably implement some quota because this spring it's going to, the next 90 days, oh my gosh. And then of course school lets out in June and we lose consumption, a certain amount, not a lot. Is it a lot? Yeah, it's a lot. Every kid drinking a milk, and we're not even doing that right because we're giving them crap milk. Crap. There should be nothing less than whole milk on the shelves in those classrooms, and it needs to be cold. You don't give them the garbage. Tastes great, more nutritious. That's where we're going. Fortification. Better tasting, more nutritious. Get ready, America, because it's coming. The consumers are going to love it. The kids are going to go, all right, about time. Flavored, fastest growing. And we're going to flavor it, too. You're going to get some chocolate milk. You don't like it, Mrs. Obama? I don't care. We don't care. Let the kids, this is a free country. Let them pick their damn milk. Get the hell out of the kitchen if you don't know what to do to get kids to eat good food and eat the right quantities of the right stuff. But we hear nothing but animosity and contention relative to the way the food for our children is being managed at the school level. And I guarantee you, continuing, even McDonald's, guys, get rid of the 1%. Dump it. Get rid of it. 2%. There's no need. The kids need the good milk. They deserve the good milk. And don't be afraid to put chocolate in it. It's okay for a kid to consume chocolate milk. Should he drink chocolate milk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? No. But neither should they drink soda. There is no reason that the number one breakfast drink in America today is soda. It's not orange juice. It's not even coffee. It certainly isn't milk. It's soda. And gaining on that probably at an accelerating rate are these power drinks. And that's just garbage. So, moms, you got to step up. School administrators have got to step up. School boards have got to step up. The federal government should not be involved in our local schools anyway. Get the hell out of Dodge. That's not what the federal government's for. That's not what you should be doing. Influencing better health, better choices, better nutrition, got all that. Abso-dang-lutely. And certainly, we all need more exercise. We need to be about doing something instead of sitting and sitting and sitting some more. Those things we can use the help with. But if you don't know what it takes to get kids to eat, then you shouldn't be in charge of the kitchen. And I want you to know those ladies who have been in those kitchens for 10, 15, 20, 30 years and more, they know what those kids want. And they know how to fix it. Leave them alone. Give them what they need. Let them order what they need, and you get it there. That's what we should be doing. They're the most qualified, not the White House, not the Education Department, not the federal government. Those women, those great women, and I know because my mother-in-law was one of them. That girl could cook. I'll eat at her table anytime. She's gone now, but I'll eat at her table anytime, any day, and loved every bit of it. She could make a soup in this pot of hers, guys, that you can't believe what I think everything was in there, but and I'm not a big vegetable guy, but she could put it in there, and because it was in that pot and she made it, it tasted great. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, gravy, fried chicken, it didn't matter. All those things. And I learned a ton. I love to cook, and I'm not a bad cook. But I learned what I know from my wife, from her mom, from Annabelle, my mother, my dad. My dad was a great cook. So, anyway, food is important, and we're in the food business. But we need to be market responsive. People don't want garbage. They don't want foreign milk and milk products. We've got to be in control of that food chain. It's got to be secure. It's got to be high quality. And we do not need to become a food-dependent nation by robbing our production sector of the ability to be profitable. There's no guarantees, but we are creating a situation, perpetuating a situation to the benefit of a few, to the detriment of everyone. We need high-quality, affordable, safe food. And we need to be in charge of producing it. The United States of America. We're not going to bring a container ship into the port of Oakland. We're not going to unload the containers. We're not going to open it up, pull out the pallet, break open the bag, pour it into a stainless steel tank, add water, and stir. Because there are those that would relegate us to that. That's not going to happen. No stinking way is that going to happen. Well, and the last point that we want to make is about that wage situation. The legislation in the state of California have absolutely bumped their heads. And here's the real sad point about that. Is the very people that they want to benefit over time, they're going to, Paul Harvey always said, you know what, corporations and businesses don't pay taxes. People pay taxes. And this is a tax. This is going to be a tax on the people of California. And the reason why is because everybody's going to have to increase their costs. It's going to cost more for everything we consume. So what happens to that worker, okay, doesn't mean he shouldn't be paid, according to his ability, according to his tenure. And we need to always be conscious that, a guy and a gal ought to be paid. Even our youth, paid what they're worth. But paid what they're worth. Not what the state of California thinks they're worth, but paid what they're worth. And let the market, if he doesn't like the wage he's receiving, then guess what he'll do? He'll go get another job. He'll take his skills and his resume and his abilities that he has accumulated at that previous job, and he'll go leverage them for more money at the next job. That's what happens. That's what should be happening. But let me tell you what's going to happen. The real life is, and we're going to bring this out in real life, real farms, real businesses, where, okay, let's find out how much more of that $5, because, see, we're already at $10, okay? So now they want to take us to 15 in the next, it's 6 years, okay? 6 years from now, California will be paying a minimum wage of $15 an hour, if all things being equal. So let's do the withholdings, and let's pay the taxes, and let's take care of his health insurance, and let's do all of that. And then we're going to show you how much money, what's the net increase? How much more money did that worker get? Now, here's the problem. It's not a lot. Okay, especially if we move them up in the tax brackets. Okay, so it doesn't whether we move them or not, you get done, and what's the net benefit? Now, he has to take those dollars, and there's going to be some net benefit. I guarantee you he's going to have a wage increase, something more than he has today, between $10 and $15. It's going to be more. Okay? But the question is, okay, how far will those dollars go when he goes out into the marketplace? Because the price of fuel is going to go up, the price of food, the food at the restaurant, the food at the grocery store. It's going to cost more to deliver services through our cities, through our counties, even though they're probably paying a lot already. But they're going to have to comply. The guy who, the laundry, the cleaners, the service people for our homes, for our cars, for our electronics. Everybody's going to be making more money, because when you push up that base, you push up everybody's wages. And so how far will those dollars go? Well, we're going to spend some time. We're going to close the show today. We've kept you delayed long enough. But, the reality is the net benefit to that worker could be a negative. By the time they get back into the marketplace, by the time they get back to where they are using that net benefit, are they really ending up with a net benefit? It's inflationary, to say the least. When you increase minimum wage 50% in this state in the next 6 years, from $10 to $15, and what we know about them and their ilk, this philosophy that everybody should get, the highest wage possible. And it doesn't matter whether the businesses can afford it or not, because guess what the businesses are going to do? If you can't afford to operate in California, you're not going to be in California. And I guarantee you there's a lot of guys that are going, you know what? We don't need to be here. We don't need this problem. We can farm, we can produce, we can milk cows someplace else. It's a real possibility. There's going to be a lot of shifting going on. And we're going to have to do our very best. We're going to have to do our very best to find a means and a mechanism to combat it, to find a balance, something. We'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see what transpires. So add one more thing to the reasons why it's very tough to do business in the golden state of California. And, of course, what we end up being, of course, is the first. And then it comes to you later on. It's coming. Just a matter of time. If we allow the government to continue to do what governments do, spend more money. And there's going to be lots of talk about that in these next, 4 or 5 months? April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Wow. So we got 7 months to election. 6, 7 months. 7. So anyway, more to come. Thank you for joining us. This has been the Agribusiness Dairyman News Hour Magazine, your 1 hour all-dairy connection. Hopefully we've provided some insights and some ideas. Visit our website at www.my-dairyman.com. And join us every morning, 8:30 a.m. in the Pacific time zone, 11:30 a.m. in the East. Our friend Stuart will provide for you some numbers, some access information. Find us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube, Twitter. We're out there. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a safe day. We'll be back on Friday. And take care. It'll be April 1st. Bye-bye.
Imagine life without cheese. Okay, it's a horrible thought, but we're only pretending. Pasty pizzas, blah burritos, colorless casseroles, the mind boggles. Cheese transforms the eating experience. It can be creamy or crumbly, sharp or sweet, hot and gooey, or room temperature. With hundreds and hundreds of different varieties, cheese can really add zing to your meals. Behold the power of cheese, presented by the Allied Milk Producers.
Pico Dairy Automation is your partner for success, delivering unrestricted, durable, and profitable milking equipment to today's commercial dairy. To learn more, call us at 1-800-344-7166.
To learn or hear more, please join us for our daily News Hour magazine, your 1 hour all dairy connection. It is broadcast live every morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific and 11:30 a.m. Eastern. You can join the broadcast by calling 712-432-0900. Your conference PIN number is 666632#, or you can listen to the recorded call by dialing 712-432-0990, using your same PIN number for personal access. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. We truly believe you need to and can know more. Our job is to deliver more knowledge to dairy producers, believing that if knowledge is power, then applied knowledge is nuclear power. We'll see you on the call.